Hi everyone, happy Friday. Here's some of us heading your way tonight to your news at 9.
I'm Caroline Shively in Wilmington, Delaware. I'll have the latest on the Biden camp's reaction to the 2020 vote count.
President Trump making it clear his opponent should not declare victory just yet. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll have the latest reaction from the president's campaign coming up.
It's 4 days since the election, and it's still not clear who the next president of the United States will be. I'm Chris Warner. We'll speak with a couple of student Democrats and Republicans and get their thoughts on what's next.
Doug Heddy is weather tonight. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Obby. It's been 3 days since Americans cast their votes in the 2020 election. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively is in Wilmington, Delaware with the latest on the 2020 election.
Joe Biden had been planning to address the nation this Friday, but so far no address from the Democratic ticket. In the battleground state of Pennsylvania, vote counting continued Friday. The Keystone State and several other swing states acknowledging it's been 3 days since polls closed, but urging patience with the process. In a news conference in Philadelphia, city officials announced they expect Biden will ultimately win the hard-fought state, though it's still not official.
What the president needs to do is, frankly, put his big boy pants on. He needs to acknowledge the fact that he lost.
Georgia's Secretary of State also addressed the ongoing ballot counting in his state, though announced there will be a recount given the slim margin.
The voters of Georgia deserve transparency.
In Wilmington, Delaware, Joe Biden remained silent, holding no public events early Friday as a final tally neared completion. But on Capitol Hill, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi voiced confidence the Democratic ticket will ultimately win.
This has been a life or death fight for the fate of our democracy, as he says, the soul of our country. We did not win every battle in the House, but we did win the war.
The clock is ticking on the entire process. Inauguration is just 75 days away. In Wilmington, Delaware, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
President Trump and his campaign remain adamant the election is far from over. They are pointing to what they call irregularities in the state of Pennsylvania as well as Nevada, where they claim thousands of ballots were improperly cast. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard reports now from D.C.
President Trump says Joe Biden shouldn't think of declaring victory yet, promising a lengthy legal battle before any concession. From within the White House, President Trump tweeting, "Joe Biden should not wrongfully claim the office of the president. I could make that claim also. Legal proceedings are just now beginning." Later tweeting about leads he had early on election night, saying, "Perhaps these leads will return as our legal proceedings move forward."
We will not give up on this process until every last issue has been resolved.
The Republican National Committee has sent teams of lawyers to battleground states, including Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia. The Trump campaign alleges, although without hard evidence, that there are a number of voting irregularities, and they accuse election officials of ignoring them.
If we don't get it right and we don't figure out what happened that night, that cloud is going to get darker and darker.
Democrats, including some Republicans, say the president is undermining the American election process and sowing distrust.
He should act like a president and comply with the Constitution or accept the will of the people by virtue of our Constitution.
While the vote count continues to grow for former Vice President Joe Biden, the Trump campaign believes they may still have a chance until electors meet in December to declare a winner. And it's unlikely the president will concede anytime soon. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
With all the anticipation determining a winner in the presidential election, some local college students are getting some first-hand experience in this whole election process. KOM's Chris Warner spoke with students from both the Democrat and Republican Party about their thoughts, and Chris says more.
This election has been certainly one of the most interesting of our time. Marlon Morita is with the Pittsburgh State University College Republicans and shared his thoughts on what should be done.
If Biden wins, I think the GOP is going to be, it's not going to be relaxed. I believe Trump is going to fight in the courts to get this election, straightened out, because there's fraud coming out, and I believe that if our democracy is going to stay as it is, it should be legal.
Jared Carper is with the Missouri Southern State University Democrats, and he agrees, to a point, with Marita.
To have a valid president, we need to validate all the results and make sure that we are counting every single ballot and that the ballots are counted accurately. So I'm expecting that there will definitely be recounts, especially in the tight races like in Georgia and Pennsylvania. And that way we can be sure that we have the president that has been elected by the people.
However, he's concerned about how divisive this election has made the American people.
The extremism is not what this country wants right now. We are the United States of America, not the divided states of America. As James Madison said, ambition must be made to counteract ambition. If one party pushes too far in one direction, I believe the other party is just going to push that much harder back.
But Marita says it's not that divided, and Republicans will respect whatever the outcome is.
You know, if it is the will of the American people to actually choose Biden, then that's going to be, you know, it's going to be like that. I believe Republicans are going to respect the office that he holds. If the ballots are legal, if every vote is legal, and not just dead voters and not just fraud, if it's all legal, we'll obviously respect the position that Biden holds as president.
I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
Now, both students say, politics aside, it's been a great lesson in class on how democracy works. And with such tight races, they say it's a sign that every vote indeed does count. Doug Heddy joining us now with our first look at weather. Another great day today.
Yeah, pretty good day. We've had great weather all week long. 70s, 4 highs once again. It started at 53, 76 for a high, average high 64. So a good chunk above where we should be for this time of the year. Still clear skies, nothing going on across really the entire central plains. But we do have the beginnings of our next storm system, which is brewing out to the west, and that will start to affect us here in a couple days. Temps right now, they're not bad, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. We'll drop back to about 51. Another great day tomorrow. Hair cooler, but still a very nice high temp, 72 degrees. Of course, we'll look at those rain chances here in just a little bit.
Doug, thanks as always. The 14-year-old Joplin girl who had been the subject of a missing person case is safe at home tonight, and we're now getting more information from police in the Wisconsin community where she was found. The teen disappeared in September and was found in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin this week. A probable cause court document from investigators there does not mention the missing teen by name, but says 19-year-old Nathan Ness had been in contact with a girl in the Joplin area for 3 years since she was 11 years old. Court document says the two formed a plan for Ness to pick her up in September and that they traveled back to Wisconsin where they have been ever since. Today, authorities charged Ness with a felony in this case. OSBI is helping the Delaware County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Office investigate a murder. Authorities believe 52-year-old John Hackathorn shot and killed 60-year-old Mary Hackathorn yesterday. Hackathorn is charged with first-degree murder. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Charles Pitt served in the U.S. Army from 1968 to 69. He was stationed over in Thailand. We are very proud to thank Sergeant First Class Charles Pitt. He is tonight's 4 state hero. All right, Halloween is over. All the candy has been given away. Maybe not eaten yet. A few more days for that, right? So next coming up is Thanksgiving. So in tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll, we are asking, has this pandemic impacted your Thanksgiving plans? You can vote on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, or use our app on your mobile devices. Results update instantly on our broadcast. We're going to check back on the results periodically during tonight's show. Doug is on deck with a complete look at the forecast, and a bit later, Joplin and Jasper County officials say COVID-19 cases are rising rapidly.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another great day for us today. All week long, we've had fantastic temperatures and plenty of sunshine, really. We had a few clouds on Wednesday, but besides that, dating all the way back to last Friday, has been pretty good across the region. Great time lapse, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but you can see the nice looking fall trees and of course clear skies throughout the daytime hours today. All right, we had all the rain last week, and then we've had a chance to dry out quite a bit, at least over the past, 6, 7, 8 days. So November, of course, doesn't have any rain. For the year, we're sitting at 41. We're about 3/4 of an inch above where we should be, but it will be ready for a little bit of rain by the time we head into next week. 70s for us yesterday, then again for us today, mid 70s. We started into the lower 50s a little bit earlier this morning. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Currently outside, sitting at 57, south winds 5 to 10. Humidity is at 72%. Everybody looks pretty good. Oronogo 57, 61. Hanging on strong, Neosho, Seneca 60, 61 in Miami, Galena 59, Pittsburgh is sitting at 57 degrees, very consistent. Most of us from 56, Iola Grove 58. Monette is sitting at 58 degrees. So our temperatures look pretty good. We'll drop back into the lower 50s later on tonight. South winds keeping those temperatures up just a bit. So with the south wind, our temperatures won't drop off too much, even though we do have the clear skies. And really clear skies across the entire Central Plains. There's just not that much going on. We have to travel out west. Here's our next storm system, at least the beginnings of this storm system. You can see the main wave kind of right out across the Pacific Northwest. But then we got this system across parts of Texas. So this kind of blocks up the pattern. So what this does is it slows that guy down from moving in. So for the next few days, we still look pretty good. And then eventually we'll get those rain chances in. Tonight's fine, lower 50s for overnight lows. Saturday looks great. Maybe a notch or two cooler than what we saw today. We'll start at 51, 67 by noon. High temp is 72. Only downfall here, south winds 10 to 20, so a little breezy at times. Tomorrow afternoon, the winds will stay kind of breezy tomorrow night into Sunday. Upper 50s to near 60 Sunday morning. Let's go into Sunday afternoon. Another great day, high temps into lower 70s, very slight chance there could be a random shower. Sunday night, still great. And then by Monday, we get more clouds. Again, a slight chance for the shower as our next storm system starts to develop out to the west. And that will give us rain chances Monday night and then into Tuesday. But the weekend looks great. 72 tomorrow, 75 Sunday, 75 Monday. 65 and dropping on Tuesday into the 50s. So kind of a cold, nasty day with some showers. Wednesday looks good. More rain chances on Thursday.
It's always great to have great weather weekends.
Yeah, because it's almost mid-November and they're not going to last long.
Yeah. Doug Head, catch you in a little bit. Thank you. Coming up, coronavirus cases rising here in the 4 states.
Health officials call on the community for help controlling the COVID-19 pandemic as cases continue to rise. I'm Kate Kelly with a look at local numbers coming up.
COVID-19 cases spiking in Joplin and across Jasper County. Health officials are urging people to take precautions. In the last week, Joplin has added 274 cases, bringing its total active caseload to 345. Jasper County reports its cases separately. That county has 322 active cases and reported 2 more deaths today, bringing their death toll to 63. As KOM's Kate Kelly reports, hospitals are struggling.
COVID numbers are going up, and we actually are seeing the highest number of inpatients we've had since this pandemic started 232 days ago.
You know, right now we have more people that are on active isolation orders than we've had at any time in the past. And so it is out there, and at least in the last few days, we've seen a pretty significant spread.
COVID cases are up 23% in Jasper County, breaking new records and worrying parents like Marissa Castle, who says her 3 kids all go to school in person.
I mean, I'm concerned, but I do feel comfortable sending them because Joplin does a really good job, I feel like.
Even with precautions in place, she says she knows the risk is out there.
I think that there's always going to be a spike at some point when large amounts of people are together.
It's putting a real strain on area hospitals. Freeman currently has 44 COVID-19 patients. Mercy officials say they're seeing their highest number of COVID patients hovering in the 30s to 40s. That's impacting wait times and bed availability for patients in the ER.
We still got some capability, but what I want people to know is that it's not unlimited. And so we have staffing constraints, we have staffing resources that are a little bit tight in some areas right now. So we are making it work. But if we have big waves coming in, we're going to be having a lot of challenges for us going forward.
Capacity is a growing concern for hospitals across Missouri. For some, 10% of all patients are battling the coronavirus. Health officials say people need to wear a mask and social distance as much as possible to help get things back under control.
That really is the only tool we've got in the toolbox right now. And so, you know, until we get a vaccine or better cures for the illness, I think that's that's our only message that we can use.
In Jasper County, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Chief medical officers from the University of Kansas Health System, Liberty Hospital, North Kansas City Hospital, Truman Medical Center's University Health, and others briefed about 150 lawmakers today on the rising caseload across the state. Doctors say it's up to elected officials to deal with the rising numbers in whatever ways they deem necessary, but urge them to convey to the public the pillars of infection prevention, and that those who wear masks and avoid large gatherings help keep businesses open and keep people out of hospitals. Going to numbers, Kansas added a record-setting 5,418 new COVID-19 cases today, bringing that state's total to 97,633. The state also reported 79 COVID-19 fatalities today, bringing the total number of coronavirus-related deaths to 1,166. In Oklahoma, the number of new coronavirus cases and related hospitalizations have dropped slightly. There are 1,878 new cases, 1,025 people hospitalized today, down from 2,101 new cases and 1,055 hospitalizations reported yesterday. There have been a total of 131,751 reported cases and 1,429 deaths since this pandemic began. Okay, so in tonight's KOAM News Now poll, we are asking you, has this pandemic impacted your Thanksgiving Day plans? You can vote at KOAMnewsNow.com/vote or on the KOAM News Now mobile app. Here are some results so far. Pretty close. It was closer. I mean, I've been checking the results on our website. It was close a few minutes ago, but still pretty close. Again, you can vote on our website at KOAMnewsNow.com/vote or on your mobile device. Coming up, another visit to Wisconsin where election officials there are targeting what they are calling rumors. While election officials over in Wisconsin work on finalizing their vote count, they're also addressing claims of fraud surrounding the process. Fox's Sam Kramer has that story from Milwaukee.
Stop the steal! Outside the office now certifying the city of Milwaukee's election results. USA! This group claims the fix is on. Organizer Ashley Ramos says she's seen proof of ballots being swept under jackets in Chicago. She's worried the election is being stolen.
It's happening in Chicago, it's happening everywhere, and something needs to be done about it, and people need to know. It needs to stop being hidden or acting like it's some, crazy conspiracy. It's not.
Some rally goers say they're suspicious of the president's 100,000 vote lead in Wisconsin on election night suddenly swing to a 20,000 vote lead for Biden early Wednesday morning. Something Wisconsin Elections Administrator Megan Wolf says was driven by the votes and not fraud.
There were no absentee ballots found in the middle of the night. There were lawyers and observers from both parties on site and involved the entire time. That even includes at 4 a.m. When ballots were still being counted.
MU political science professor Philip Rocco, who also works as an election official, says that sharp influx in ballots was to be expected with around 2 million people voting absentee, especially with the city's central count setup.
It looks like a lot of votes added at once. That is not votes being found or discovered somewhere. That is an example of votes being added in bulk, which is a completely normal process. It happens all of the time.
Again, that was Fox's Sam Kramer reporting. Why mayonnaise became the centerpiece of a wedding and how the new Mr. and Mrs. scored a free wedding cake when we come back. Still time to vote on tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll. The question, has the pandemic impacted your Thanksgiving Day plans? Remember, you can vote on our website, KOAMnewsNow.com/vote, or by using our app on your mobile phone. We're going to have another look at the results so far in a few minutes. All right, a unique wedding surprise for a couple with the unusual last names, but unique last names, of Helms and Mayo. Hellman's the mayonnaise company, sending Marissa Helms and David Mayo a giant mayo jar-shaped cake on their wedding day. Look at that. The company also sending them custom bomber jackets and promising them a year's supply of mayonnaise. Mayonnaise 365 days a year, all day long, if you so choose. Ugh, I like mayonnaise, but geez. Helms and Mayo reached out to Hellman's before their wedding in October. The couple had planned a Hellman's-themed wedding, complete with mayo-shaped wedding cookie flavors in a blue and yellow color scheme. They joked that they knew from the very beginning their love was fated because their names, however they didn't know Hellman's, was planning to add to their love story. Couple says they are very grateful the company made their wedding so special. I agree, that's something to look back on, tell the kids about, And with a name like that, you had to do something, right? 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
I'm here at the grand opening of the PSU Block 22 Pitsco Idea Shop. But for this celebration, your typical ribbon cutting just wouldn't cut it. Instead, it was a day at the races. Details are coming up.
A local organization that helps build homes for families in need gets a new building to help continue that mission. Plus, an easier way for Crowder College students to transfer credits to Cody College.
A group in Joplin is trying to give some unneeded political yard signs a new purpose. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Grand opening of the Pitt State Block 22 Pitsco Idea Shop brought some top Kansas officials to Pittsburgh, including Kansas Governor Laura Kelly. But the real star of the show, people say, was the event's entertainment. KOM's Mike Mahoney spent his afternoon at the Idea Shop, and Mike has these details.
The Pitsco Idea Shop is an excellent example of how our colleges and universities employ an energetic approach to public-private partnerships.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly was one of many big names having a blast at Friday's grand opening of PSU's Block 22 Pitsco Idea Shop in Pittsburgh. Instead of a ribbon cutting, PSU representatives and other state and local officials raced CO2-powered dragsters that were built in the Idea Shop by local students. These smaller speedsters are also an homage to Pitsco's past.
It's one of Pitsco's first products. It's the product that launched Pitsco education in a lot of respects 50 years ago.
The Idea Shop is open to anyone who pays for a membership and features tech including 3D printers, laser engravers, and more that four-state entrepreneurs and innovators can use to bring their ideas to life. A PSU freshman who helped area's 6th through 12th graders construct their cars says she's already inspired and looking forward to tinkering in the shop.
I think that'd be a really fun experience to do. I'm not the most handy person, but I think it's just really cool to see what the kids can come in and do and kind of learn from them.
In Pittsburgh, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
That's awesome. Later in the day, the 6th through 12th graders who built the dragsters got to come in and race them for prizes. Habitat for Humanity has a new storage building to use while helping families in need have a new home. Area high school students taking a construction class at Crowder College built a storage building which was designed by the organization, also teachers. The building is going to be used to store property from houses while Habitat is working on them.
They built it from the ground up. They custom built the doors, and they did all the siding and the roofing and the framing, and it was a good experience for them. Not particularly designed it. We had an idea of what we wanted when we had our meetings with Habitat.
Students have been working on the storage building for about a year. Crowder College, County colleges enter a partnership that's going to make it easier for students to transfer to County. The first partnership is a general transfer agreement. Crowder students who graduate with a 2.0 GPA will be admitted to County with most general education requirements waived, will be eligible for transfer scholarships, and their application fee is also going to be waived. The second is called a 2+2 plan.
Are able to pick up in their junior year with all of their credits recognized and essentially have what we call a 2+2 opportunity. The 2 years at Crowder are recognized by the 2 years at Coady, and they're able to continue through to achieving success in their academic journey.
County College is an all-women's liberal arts college, so this transfer partnership is only for women at Crowder College. Students at Sarcoxie High School today learned the importance of driving sober. Very important thing. The Arrive Alive tour visited campus. Students were put in a simulator, as we see right there, with a VR headset to learn what it's like to drive drunk or high.
The students seem to have a good time with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way for them to learn, to be able to try it out, kind of like a game too. A lot of the students really like to do the simulators.
About 200 students took part in this simulation. The Sunderland Foundation over in Overland Park, Kansas donated $300,000 to the Crawford County Mental Health Center. That money is going to go towards the construction of a new addiction treatment center in Pittsburgh. The treatment center will have 26 furnished bedrooms with up to 52 beds and large rooms for recovery meetings. Okay, in today's KOM News Now Instant Poll, we asked you, has this pandemic impacted your Thanksgiving Day plans? That poll is now closed. Hope you had a chance to vote. Here are some results. Still pretty close, right? 52% compared to 48%, 52% being the yes, it has, impacted me in some way. Thanks everyone for participating. As we wrap up this election cycle, many people will most likely just throw away their unneeded campaign signs, but a group in Joplin is trying to give them a new purpose. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the details.
Biden, Trump, Parson, and Galloway signs all in the same car, because now they're a blank canvas.
They're just going in someone's garbage can, so why not just reuse them?
The nonprofit group Minahama is trying to raise around $300,000 for a down payment on the former Girl Scouts camp in Newton County, Camp Minahama.
Many of us have been at Camp Minahama as girls, as counselors, just absolutely love the area. So we got together and said, hey, are we gonna just take this line down?
So now they're collecting as many unneeded signs as they can to try and make it happen.
We're just gonna start sprinkling those all around town, of course with permission. We're going to find out, just teach people what Minahama really means.
We're really glad that the bulk of these signs can go to Camp Minahama this year because it's really nice that they're going to be able to reuse them and repurpose them.
The group decided to use political signs to make sure they were helping the environment at the same time, since according to the World Wildlife Fund, plastic can take anywhere from decades to centuries to decompose in a landfill. Now, it is better to recycle signs like this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy, and it does get pretty expensive.
They have to be separated from any other type of recyclable. The vinyl signs are recyclable, but it's really hard to find someone that'll take them.
So even after these signs get done with their second term, Minahama plans to give them an even longer life.
Like good Girl Scouters, we are going to recycle and reuse.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
We have how you can donate unneeded political signs to the group on our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. A bit later, a national and international update on COVID-19.
The U.S. sets another record for new coronavirus cases as Europe shuts down for a second time. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with the latest on the pandemic straight ahead.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a great day for us today. Temperatures fantastic again, into the mid-70s for highs. Crystal clear blue skies across the region. And it looks like we're going to have pretty good weather conditions once again as we head into the weekend. Great time lapse. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Just a few little cumulus clouds out there during the afternoon, but it looks great. All right, rain stats. We had all the rain last week. Had a chance to dry out a bit. Haven't had any rain this month for the year. We're at 41.5 inches, still above by about 3/4 of an inch. And we are going to get some rain next week, and by that point in time, we'll be ready for a little bit of rain. Mid-70s yesterday, lower 50s this morning, mid-70s once again for us today. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Here's downtown Joplin sitting at 57. South winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity's not bad at 72%. Temps around the metro. Carthage 57, 58 in Neosho, Baxter at 59, 59 in Miami. Pittsburgh is sitting at 57 degrees. And if you look around the entire four-state area, Monette at 55, 58, and Bonita, Iola is sitting at 58 degrees, much of the same in Nevada. I just don't think we're going to drop off too much tonight. We do have a light south wind. It's going to pick up a little bit the next couple days. You can see the winds are a little bit stronger out to our west, but that will allow us to not drop off too far tonight. So I think most of us into lower 50s. Clear skies, nothing going on here. Really nothing across the Central Plains. You have to head out west. Here's our next storm system. The main system is right out across the Pacific Northwest, and it's going to take its time working in, and that's due to this wave. There we go. Right across parts of eastern Texas, so it kind of blocks the pattern up just a little bit. Tonight's going to be fine. We'll drop back, lower 50s, pretty much clear skies. A few little clouds out to our west, may get a few random clouds in here tomorrow, but in general, a pretty good day. Here's your day planner, starting at 51, 67 by noon, high temp, 72. I'd say the only downfall to tomorrow is the south winds are going to be up there a little bit at about 10 to 20. Tomorrow night's good, mostly clear skies, and we'll get some clouds in here by Sunday. Very slight chance for a shower, but I really think most of us will stay dry as we go into the 70s once again. So let's move from Sunday night and then into Monday As we go through the day, still a lot of clouds, still temperatures pretty good, but you can see the rain starting to increase out to our west. So again, a slight chance for a shower on Monday. Better chances Monday night into Tuesday as this main system rolls in. It'll pass on by. We'll get a break on Wednesday, and then we'll get another system in here with rain chances by Thursday. 72 for us tomorrow, 75 Sunday and Monday, 65 and dropping on Tuesday. A little bit cooler next week, but all in all, not a bad forecast, and at least we are getting a really nice weekend.
Yeah, and I was looking at the nighttime temperatures, except Tuesday night. It's been nice having.
good.
Yeah, it's been nice having those mild temperatures. Doug Heddy, thank you. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store, also the Google Play Store for Android phones. All you have to do is search for the KOM Skywatch weather app. Coming up, a Galena High School track star signing her college letter of intent, plus the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, previewing the team's Week 9 matchup against the Carolina Panthers. Big day for Galena High School senior Kaylee Ishman. Ishman signed her letter of intent this afternoon to continue her track and field career at Fort Scott Community College. She's going to be running the 400-meter race for the Greyhounds. Ishman says staying close to home was important in deciding where to continue her career in college.
I love my family a lot. I want to see my little sister grow up to be just as successful as I was, and I love my town. It's a big dream of mine. I really never thought I was going to accomplish it, and I'm really happy that I finally get the chance to.
Congratulations, Kaylee, and good luck. Moving on now to the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs are 7-1 after beating the Jets last weekend. This week, they remain at home to face the Carolina Panthers. Like we do every Friday, it's time to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
In many ways, it's my favorite home game of any season, the Salute to Service game. As a nation and as a kingdom, we've gone through a lot the past 9 months, but there's one thing we can't take for granted. We're protected. Our country will always have enemies, and places in the Chiefs Kingdom like Forts Riley and Leavenworth in Kansas, Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, the Marine Corps Mobilization Command in Kansas City, the Air Force bases of Whiteman and Knob Noster, Missouri, McConnell and Wichita, Kansas, and Offutt and Omaha, Nebraska, and all of the National Guard units of the kingdom are all prepared to protect. This week, the Chiefs meet the Carolina Panthers, but this game means much more. It reminds me that while we sleep, work, play, and even argue, we're protected by the women and men who are at the ready and serve us with their service. On this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Sunday's game will begin at noon right here on Fox 14. Back with more news after this. The dreaded second wave of the pandemic reaches new heights as the U.S. breaks another record for daily coronavirus cases. This comes as countries across Europe enter nationwide shutdowns for the first time. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer has this story.
The U.S. sets another grim coronavirus record as new cases surpass 100,000 in a single day for the first time since the pandemic hit. The data affirms experts' warnings another surge is underway and shows no signs of slowing down. Daily infections are spiking in nearly every state, most pronounced in the Midwest and Southwest.
Make no mistake, this pandemic isn't over, not by a long shot. And it's not enough for us to just know more. We have to act differently.
Serious cases are also on the rise. Hospitals in multiple states are feeling the strain as the number of patients continues to increase. And this time, it's not a shortage of personal protective equipment officials are worried about. It's a lack of healthcare workers.
It's about trained, specialized providers to take care of those patients. And those come in the form of critical care doctors, critical care nurses, respiratory therapists, pharmacists.
Abroad, Europe is facing a sweeping second wave of infections. England, Italy, France, and several other countries have introduced new restrictions to curb the spread of the virus. Bars, restaurants, and shops in London were bustling on the last night before a month-long lockdown.
I've got so many friends that work in hospitality, and I think like my heart is absolutely breaking for them that they're not going to have a job. So I think it's, I guess, make the most of it, enjoy our last night out before we tuck her up.
Health officials warn the U.S. could see a similar shutdown as Europe if Americans aren't careful with the upcoming holidays. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Going to see how a new movie is meant to shine on a light on the healing from sexual abuse. Actress turned writer producer Nicole Cannon finding her voice through storytelling. She uses the horror film genre to shine a light on the internal struggles and healing from sexual abuse. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a story.
You sure you want to do this?
Let's get over with. The new indie film Transference explores the emotional trauma and recovery of childhood sexual abuse through a horror psychological drama lens. You have to stay very quiet or he's going to find you.
I chose to write it specifically with the horror genre because I feel like, these things that happened to us in the past, they're horrible and we live with them, all of our lives until we actually find the courage to turn inward and face them.
Nicole Cannon wrote and produced the movie. It centers around a woman who returns home from her estranged father's funeral and is haunted by memories from the past that manifest as an entity.
It's a manifestation of past trauma, which is childhood sexual abuse from her father. And she does a lot of different things to try and just deny the presence of this memory. And her daughter, who sees things through the eyes of innocence, befriends this entity, and it starts to threaten their lives and threaten to tear apart their lives. And then the mom has to actually acknowledge what happened in her past in order to heal it.
The movie is a personal project for Cannon, who is a sexual abuse survivor. She was inspired to write the story to help others heal.
I think a lot of times what happens is people tend to blame themselves a little bit. So, I think that in talking about it, it's kind of like putting that responsibility on the abuser versus the victim.
I am not a broken little girl! The film is available to stream on Amazon Prime. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of cows wearing Christmas sweaters because it's 2020. That's what cows do now. They're moving towards that fashion. Have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.